Good afternoon, everyone. A little chilly. So we'd like to welcome you to the assembly of the 109th inauguration of city government. Nice. So my name is June Karen. I'm the alderman for Ward 7. And on behalf of this year's inauguration committee, which was made up of Alderman Ben Clemens and Alderman-elect Jan Smith, I am pleased to welcome you to this event. For those that were present earlier, we hope you enjoyed the wonderful pre-ceremony music provided by Michael Joseph. At this time, I would like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, who will then take the podium to conduct this afternoon's program. On January 10th, 2016, Jim Donchis was sworn in as the 56th mayor of the city of Nashua. Mayor Donchis also served 2 terms as the 51st mayor of Nashua from 1984 through 1991, as well as having served twice as alderman at large. Mayor Donchis graduated from Yale University, where he majored in art history and played varsity football. He also graduated from NYU Law School with top academic honors. As a practicing attorney in New Hampshire, he has represented scores of plaintiffs in lawsuits involving claims of sexual harassment and employment discrimination based on gender, age, race, ethnic origin, and disability. Mayor Donchis and his wife, Vicki, have lived for many years in their home on Rockland Street in Nashua. The other members of his close-knit family is his daughter, Caroline, son-in-law, David, and new grandchild, Ajax, live in Oakland, California. At this time, it is my pleasure to turn over the podium to Mayor Jim Donchis, who will begin the formal part of this program. Thank you. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Well, good afternoon. And before we begin our ceremonies, I would like to ask the honor guard from the Nashua Fire Department, and we had a fire today, so hopefully they were able to make that, to please post the colors. And please stand and place your hand over your heart as the flag passes by. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the Star-Spangled Banner. Stephen Loranger, a sophomore from Nashua High School North, will now lead us in the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Star-Spangled Banner by Francis Scott Key will be sung by members of the Nashua High School North Concert Choir under the direction of Brianne Biestoff.
What so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now I would like to ask Reverend Allison Palm to come forward to give us the invocation.
In these first days of a new year, in this season of endings and beginnings, we gather in gratitude and in joy to recognize and celebrate leaders both old and new, to mark a new beginning in the leadership of our city. We offer our gratitude for our leaders, for their willingness to serve our community, for the time and energy they will offer to us in the coming months, and for their dedication to building a better Nashua for us all. And we offer blessings for our leaders today, for we know that their work will not always be easy. May you represent your people faithfully, embodying integrity and accountability in all you do. May you support one another as you serve, knowing that by working together we can accomplish what none of us could do alone. May you use your power with intention and care, recognizing that with that power comes great responsibility. May you lead us toward a future with more justice, more love, more compassion for all of our neighbors. And on days when leadership is a challenge, may each of you remember what called you to serve. For each of us is called, and when we heed our calling, each of us has the power to build a better tomorrow. May this day be the beginning of a better tomorrow for Nashua and for our world. May it be so. Amen.
Well, you may be seated, please. Well, Nashua citizens, friends, and families, welcome to Nashua's 109th inauguration ceremony. I'm grateful to be here as we begin a new year full of promise. And thank you all for coming and for your love of our city. First, I want to congratulate Brian McCarthy and Lori Wilshire on being selected to serve for the next 2 years as President and Vice President of the Board of Aldermen. You both have provided strong leadership over the years, and I'm confident that you will continue to do so. And of course, thank you to our inauguration committee, June Karen, Ben Clemens, and Jan Schmidt. But before we go further, I want to take a moment to recognize all of the people who work every day to make Nashua a great city. Thank you to Chief Steve Gallipo and incoming Chief Brian Rhodes of the Fire Department, and Police Chief Andy Lavoie, and all of the members of our fire and police departments for keeping our city safe. Now, according to a recent national study, Nashua is the safest city in the United States, and I think we should give our public safety officers another round of applause. Thank you to School Superintendent Dr. Jamal Mosley and all of the teachers, administrators, paraprofessionals, and others who work so hard to provide excellent education to our young people. Thank you to our city employees who serve the people of Nashua by maintaining and plowing our streets, collecting our trash, caring for our parks, playgrounds, and public spaces, and by helping our citizens recycle. Our employees in City Hall working to build Nashua's economy and planning for our future. In public health by improving the health of our residents and by helping to stem the tide of the opioid crisis. In our library by promoting literacy, and more recently by hosting the well-attended candidate forums during this past election. So let's give them all another round of applause. And of course, I want to thank the families of our newly elected officials. Family members sacrifice a lot to give a loved one the opportunity to serve our community. Now, we have before us many new members of city government, this year including 8 new alderwomen and aldermen and 3 new school board members. And to you, I say welcome. I look forward to working with each of you. And I was thinking back to my first inauguration, and someone asked me how many of that had been, and it's been quite a few. And I realized that in my first inauguration, I was also one of 8 new aldermen that were sworn in that day, along with new school board members as well. That inauguration initiated a time of great progress for Nashua under the leadership of Mayor Morris Arell. And we now have another opportunity to work together to make important progress and to make Nashua even stronger. The incoming members of the Board of Aldermen and the School Board, who come from a variety of backgrounds, will bring new energy and new ideas to our city that will help us reach our full potential. To both our new and veteran members of the city government alike, my door is always open. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me with your ideas, your questions, or concerns. The men and women being sworn in today are committed to improving our city. This is your day. You worked hard to prevail in November, learning about Nashua city government, meeting and talking with Nashuans door to door, participating in candidate forums, raising money, sending mailings, and developing positions on city issues. You have put yourself on the line in order to make Nashua an even better place to live. So, congratulations. Now, we have the opportunity to learn from each other and to work together to move our city forward. The offices to which you have been elected are important to our citizens. The decisions we make together will affect the lives of almost 90,000 Nashuans on a daily basis, and will help shape our city's future. To the incumbent members of the Board of Aldermen, with whom I've had the pleasure of working for the past 2 years, I'm proud of what we've accomplished together. Nashua has been recognized as the safest city in the United States. We've expanded full-day kindergarten to all of Nashua's elementary schools. We're battling the opioid crisis and turning hopelessness into recovery through Nashua's Safe Stations project, our peer-to-peer recovery coach pilot program, and the mayor's opioid task force. We're adding hundreds of units of downtown housing, including 200 beautiful new apartments in the block-long mill-to-housing conversion on Franklin Street. We've initiated a $37 million 5-year street paving plan of action. Despite major increases in the city's mandatory contribution to the state pension system and in other fixed costs, we have passed 2 budgets which have maintained and improved city services while keeping annual tax increases under 3%. We opened the Arlington Street Community Center to provide needed services to children and families in Crown Hill, one of our most disadvantaged neighborhoods. We are working with the Boston Surface Rail Company on a private-public partnership to establish rail service from Nashua to Lowell and Boston. And Nashua homeowners are seeing significant increases in the value of their homes, meaning people want to live in our city. So by working together, we've accomplished a lot, but we still face challenges, and we need to work hard every day to move Nashua forward. We will continue to battle the opioid crisis and continue to be careful stewards of our tax dollars. We'll continue to focus on providing excellent education at every school for every student so that all of our children can succeed. We'll continue to make Nashua more attractive to young people and families. We'll continue our efforts to connect Nashua to Boston and the global economy so that we can remain competitive in the 21st century. And we'll continue our outreach as a welcoming city and through our sister city relationship with Mysore, India, so that all people, lifelong residents and immigrant newcomers alike, are included and feel at home. So let it be our mission to make Nashua a city that works for everyone, for senior citizens, school children and millennials, for longtime Nashuans and new arrivals, for small business owners, for artists, for veterans, for entrepreneurs, for people of all backgrounds and all walks of life. Let us make it our mission to include every neighborhood in our work, from Lancashire Heights to Crown Hill, from the Tree Streets to the North End, from Parish Hill to Cherrywood Drive, from Lake Street to Ledgewood Hills. Nashua is a great city. We enter the next 2 years optimistic about our future. And we know that by using our energy, our heart, and our creativity, we can make Nashua even stronger. To the people of Nashua, I wish you a happy and prosperous 2018. Congratulations to all of our new elected officials, and God bless you all, and God bless the city of Nashua. Now, I would like to introduce the incumbent city officials and others who are sitting on the stage. First, we have Corporation Counsel Steve Bolton. And you've met Reverend Allison Palm of the Unitarian Universalist Church. The incumbent members of the Board of Aldermen are Brian McCarthy, Mike O'Brien, and Lori Wilshire. all three aldermen at large. The incumbent members of the Board of Ed on the stage are Howard Kaufman and Doris Hohense. The incumbent members of the Board of Public Works are Joel Ackerman and Kevin Moriarty. The incumbent members of the Fire Commission are Craig Adams, Kevin Gage, and Paul Garant. We also have on the stage City Clerk Tricia Pietzu, City Treasurer and Tax Collector Dave Fredette, Police Chief Andy Lavoie, and we were going to have Assistant Fire Chief and next Chief Brian Rhodes, but as I mentioned, there was a fire on Lake Street today. All companies involved, so that's where Chief Rhodes is right now. We have the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Mosley, yes. And now that you've met all of our incumbent officials, I want to invite the City Clerk back to the stage to announce the results of the November 7th election and swear in our newly elected city officials. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We are assembled here today for the inauguration of the 109th City Government of the City of Nashua. Alderman at Large-elect, Ward Alderman-elect, Board of Education-elect, Board of Public Works-elect, Fire Commissioners-elect, and Ward Officials-elect are assembled on this day agreeably to the provisions of the City Charter of the City of Nashua for the purpose of taking upon themselves the oath of office as by law required. I would now ask that the ward officials come to the front of the stage once I start announcing their offices and begin reading their names so that they may take their oaths of office. I'm going to ask that you please stand in front. It's honored that I am allowed to provide the oath of office to my election officials. We have quite a few members that are going to be new this year. It will be their first terms. And I look forward to working with you all, learning the ropes. As we know, for those that are our incumbent ones that are coming back, knows how much election laws can change in the course of a year. So at this time, I'm going to be calling up the ward selectmen. The result of the cast vote for Ward Selectly was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen as by law provided, and it appearing therefrom that the following individuals have been duly elected Ward Selectmen of the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 2 years. Ward 1. So again, please start making your way up as I call your wards. John Gill Jr., if you are here. June Haskell. Elaine Thomas. Ward 2, Ron Gothier, Teresa Mola, and Michael J. Jerry Ryan. Ward 3, Martha Barrett, Sherry L. Dutsey, Elizabeth C. Lewis. Ward 4, James Dufo, Margaret J. Glennick, Bernadette Holleran. Ward 5, Frank Clark, Catherine Gates, and Richard Green. Ward 6, Ronald J. Doucette, Vicki Henry, Matthew Parich. Ward 7, Diane Dion, Timothy J. Sinott, and Linda Twombly. Ward 8, Linda J. Bolmarich, Mary Ellen Reed, Laura Telrisky. Ward 9, Emily Adasic, Deborah Bradfield, and Vivian L. McGuire. All right. Can I ask that you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as a ward selectman, according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God? Thank you. Ward clerks. The result of the votes cast for the ward clerk was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen, by law provided, and it appearing therefrom that the following individuals have been duly elected ward clerks for the city of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 2 years. Ward 1, Mary Poston. Ward 2, Maureen Lund. Ward 3, Diane Griffith. Ward 4, William Copson. Ward 5, Paula Dobbins. Ward 6, Estathia Boris. Ward 7, Judy Blachek. Ward 8, Stephen Goldstein. And Ward 9, Mary Louise Anna Chirarico. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as a ward clerk, according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God? Thank you. Ward moderators. The result of the votes cast for ward moderator was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen by law provided, and it appearing therefrom that the following individuals have been duly elected ward moderators for the city of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 2 terms. Ward 1, William Bordy. Ward 2, Janet Polinsky. Ward 3, Jean Batchelor. Ward 4, Fred Davis Jr. Ward 5, John Jack Kelly. Ward 6, Jay Corbin. Ward 7, Timothy Twombly. Ward 8, John B. Lyle. And Ward 9, Eric Brown. If you'd all please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as a ward moderator, according to the best of your ability, agreeably to the rules and the regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God? Thank you. Welcome. Corporation Counsel Steve Bolton will administer the oath of office to the newly elected city officials on the Board of Education, the student representatives to the Board of Education, Board of Public Works, Fire Commission, aldermen, and aldermen at large who are seated on stage. We will begin with the Fire Commission. I would ask that the newly elected officials stand as I announce their name and begin reading their names to take their oath of office. The results of the votes cast for Fire Commission was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen as by law provided, and it appearing therefrom that Ken Markey and Anthony B. Patty III have been duly elected members of the Fire Commission of the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 4 years.
If you'll each raise your right hand, please. Do each of you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as members of the Board of Fire Commission of the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities and agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God. Thank you.
Board of Public Works. The results of the votes cast for Board of Public Works was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen as by law provided, and appearing therefrom that Tracy Pappas and G. Frank Tees have been duly elected members of the Board of Public Works of the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 4 years.
Raise your right hands, please. You solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent upon you as a member of the Board of Public Works of the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities and agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God. Thank you.
Board of Education. The result of the votes cast for the Board of Education was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen by law provided, and it appearing therefrom that Raymond Guarano, Dottie Oden, Heather Raymond, and Gloria J. Timmons have been duly elected members of the Board of Education of the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 4 years.
Raise your right hands, please. You solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as member of the Board of Education of the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities and agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God. Thank you.
Board of Education student representatives. Nashua High School North and South students vote each year to elect a student representative from each school to serve as a non-voting member of the Board of Education. This year's representatives are Patrick Gillis from Nashua High School North and Haley Sweeney from Nashua High School South, who unfortunately cannot be with us. I would ask that you be standing and take your oath of office for your ensuing term.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as a student member of the Board of Education of the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God. Thank you.
The result of the votes cast for Ward Alderman was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen as by law provided, and appearing therefrom that Jan Smith, Ward 1, Richard A. Dowd, Ward 2, Patricia Klee, Ward 3, Thomas Lopez, Ward 4, Ernest Jetty, Ward 5, Ken Gidge, Ward 6, June M. Karen, Ward 7, Mary Ann Malizzi Goler, Ward 8, and Linda Harriet Gathright, Ward 9, have been duly elected Ward Aldermen for the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 2 years.
Raise your right hands, please. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as a Ward Alderman of the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God. Thank you.
Alderman at Large. The result of the votes cast for the office of Alderman at Large was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen, and as by law provided, it is appearing therefrom that Shoshana Kelly, Brandon Laws, and David C. Tenza have been duly elected Alderman at Large for the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 4 years.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent upon you as an Alderman at Large of the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the City Charter and the Constitution and laws of the State of New Hampshire, so help you God? Thank you. I'm done?
You're done.
Thank you.
I would like to ask Reverend Palm to come back up and lead us in the benediction.
Leaders of Nashua, both old and new, all that you have been separately and all that you will become together is stretched out before and behind you like stars scattered across a canvas of sky. You stand at the precipice, arms locked together like tandem skydivers working up the courage to jump. Now is the time to leap together. Now is the time to lead together. Now is the time to face that unknown future together. Blessed are you, Spirit of life, who has sustained us, enlivened us, and enabled us to reach this moment. Give each of us the courage to leap. Give each of us the wisdom to lead. Give each of us the strength to face the unknown. And share with us in the joy of this new beginning for our city. Amen.
Everybody can be seated, please. So this nearly concludes the formal ceremonies of the inauguration of the 109th City Government of the City of Nashua. The Board of Aldermen will now be conducting their organizational meeting right after we close. This will be very brief, so we would ask that you remain seated during their meeting. They're just going to elect the president and vice president and assign the committees and maybe elect a member of the Board of Health. And then when the organizational meeting concludes, which again should be very, very quickly, there will be a reception in the school cafeteria to which you are all invited. So again, thank you very much for coming, and we really appreciate your interest in our community.
At this time, I'll call the organizational meeting of the Board of Aldermen together for the 2018-19 at 12:40 p.m. on Sunday, January 7th, 2018. I will call the roll, and I'll do it alphabetically by Alderman at Large and then by Ward Alderman. Alderman Kelly. Alderman Laws. Alderman McCarthy. Alderman O'Brien. Alderman Tenza. Alderman Wilshire. Alderman Schmidt. Here. Alderman Dowd. Present. Alderman Klee. Alderman Lopez. Becky. Alderman Jetty. Here. Alderman Gidge. Here. Alderman Karen. Here. Alderwoman Melise Gola. Alderman Harriet Gathright. We have all 15 members present. Also in attendance is His Honor Jim Donchins and Corporation Steve Council. I'll begin opening the floor for nominations for President of the Board of Aldermen for the 2018-2019 term. Alderman Wilshire.
I move to nominate Alderman at Large Brian S. McCarthy as Board President.
Alderman at Large Brian McCarthy has been nominated as President of the Board. Are there any other further nominations? Okay. Alderman Wilshire.
I move that nominations be closed.
Alderman Wilshire has a motion that the nominations be closed. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? There being nobody opposed, the nominations are closed. All those in favor of Alderman Brian S. McCarthy for President of the Board of Aldermen for the 2018-19 term indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? I hereby declare that Alderman at Large Brian S. McCarthy is duly elected as President of the Board of Aldermen, and I will ask that Corporation Council please administer the oath of office to the President of the Board.
Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as President of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities and agreeably to the Constitution and laws of the State of New Hampshire and the rules and regulations of the City Charter, so help you God.
I do. I'll now open the floor for nominations for Vice President of the Board. Alderwoman Melise Gola.
I move to nominate Alderman at Large Lori Wilshire as Vice President of the Board.
Name of Alderwoman Lori Wilshire has been placed in nomination. Are there any additional nominations? Is there a motion to close nominations? Alderwoman Melise
I
Gola.
move to close nominations for Board Vice President.
Motion is to close nominations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. The name of Lori Wilshire has been placed in nomination. All those in favor of Alderwoman Wilshire serving as the Vice President for the next term signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries, and I declare that Lori Wilshire has been elected as Vice President of the Board for the ensuing term. Would Corporation Council please administer the oath of office?
Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent upon you as Vice President of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the City Charter and the Constitution and laws of the State of New Hampshire, so help you God.
I do.
I will now ask the City Clerk to distribute the envelopes containing the seat numbers for the drawing of the seating in the Aldermanic Chamber. If anyone wants to place side bets on what seats people wind up in, this is the time to do it.
It is.
Do we need to announce these or just?
Tricia said she's
Do we need to announce these or just not?
motion towards Rick. She was like, I can do that way.
I would ask for nominations for the members of the Board of Health. Alderwoman Wilshire.
Thank you. Sorry. I move to nominate Dr. Anthony Thoris, Dr. Charles T. Capetta, and Dr. Stephanie Wolf Rosenblum as members of the Board of Health for the ensuing 2 years.
Alderwoman Wilshire has nominated Dr. Anthony Storis, Dr. Charles T. Capetta, and Dr. Stephanie Wolf Rosenblum as members of the Board of Health for the ensuing 2 years. Are there any additional nominations? If not, I will declare the nominations closed, and we will vote on the appointment of Dr. Capetta, Dr. Storis, and Dr. Wolf Rosenblum. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, and Dr. Anthony Storis, Dr. Charles T. Capetta, and Dr. Stephanie Wolf Rosenblum are elected as the members of the Board of Health for the ensuing 2-year term. Would Corporation Counsel administer the oath of office if, or any of those? Oh,
Please come forward. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent upon you as a member of the Board of Health of the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities and agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire? So help you God. Thank you.
Is there a motion on the committee assignments that you all received earlier this week or last week? Alderwoman Wilshire, do you have a motion?
I'm sorry, do I have
A motion on the committee assignments?
The motion is to accept the committee announcements as planned by the President of the Board.
Motion is that the committee assignments by the President of the Board of Aldermen be accepted by voice vote. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries and the committee assignments are accepted. I want to first thank all of the members of the board for their confidence in my leadership and returning me to the presidency. In a few minutes, the real work will begin. I was asked while we were lining up in the hall by Alderwoman Kelly if I remembered my first inauguration, and I said that I did, and I can tell you that my first official act as an alderman was to move to close nominations for the Board of Health. It occurred to me since that we had that discussion in the hall, while I remember the inauguration, I don't know where it was, because on that day, this would have been a sandpit full of snow. So I'm pretty sure we didn't have it here. I would have remembered that. But it points out some of what Nashua has been through in the last few decades with building not one but two of the best high schools in New England, renovating most of our dozen elementary schools, and all three of our middle schools to various levels, building new fire stations, building a police station, upgrading all of our infrastructure to the point where we have the city that we have today. We've made tremendous strides, but there's still a lot of work to do. We are at the turning point of being a great little city, and that, I think, is where the work needs to be concentrated. We're going to need to rely much more on our downtown over the coming decades to support Nashua and to be its center for growth. And I think we need to deal with those issues. We're going to need to deal with the issues of how do we compensate our employees fairly. You heard in Mayor Donchis' remarks all of the fine work that's done by our public safety officials, our public works officials, and everybody else that works for the city. We need to keep that going, and we need to make sure that that stays there. We need to do all that, and we need to do it in a constraint where the state keeps pushing expenses down to us. We now carry $15 million in pension costs that we didn't have 8 years ago, and that is paying for other than the year-to-year cost, which is about $6 million or $8 million. We're paying 3 times what we ought to for pensions, and we have no way to collect that out except out of our budget, which is constrained at this point by inflation to grow at a little over 1% per year. This should be an easy challenge, and I'm sure you're all up to it. I look forward to working with you all. Are there any remarks by members of the board? Is there a motion? Alderwoman Wilshire. Motion is to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And we are adjourned at 12:54. Thank you.